Hi, Samuel. Thanks very much for the question. Yeah. To be honest with you, I think that the questions are actually slightly beyond the scope of what I was hoping for this kind of section to be about. This was really sort of expecting people to ask for, short little questions that I could sort of, kind of show, in a sort of a basic level how to overcome certain obstacles. But I think what you're really asking is quite of a full-blown, training that I'd eventually have to put in order to satisfy your questions fully, which I really don't think I have the time. And to be honest, I think my training is actually pretty much complete. I mean, if I've had a lot of people who have been through this training who've actually, really progressed into catching me up or even surpassing what I've been able to do. So, I mean, with regards to, the back page course and whether I'm putting videos out there and, I'm also documenting a lot of stuff, but, I'm doing a lot of both. I do actually post a lot of videos. There are a lot of videos in my courses throughout the training of my blog. And sometimes, it actually works both ways. I mean, I know some people prefer the videos, some people prefer the documents. Because, a lot of people like to, skim through stuff, and sometimes with videos it's not always possible. With documents, with PDF and with a lot of written stuff and screenshots, you can sort of have more of a bird's eye view and just sort of skim through stuff and pick out the gold nuggets or the bits and pieces you need. And, I've actually been asked, both sides, I've had a lot of people both sides, they like a bit of both. I mean, there are people who prefer the written stuff rather than, with screenshots as kind of a step-by-step guide all laid out, more than videos. But then, yes, I agree that granted there are people like yourself who would prefer videos. So, take the back page course, for example. I've already got a lot of videos in here. I mean, the back page course itself is a full-blown video course. That's really all there is. I mean, as you can see, I've sectioned everything with a video. It's a full-blown video course. That's exactly what it is. So you've got a lot of videos on my site, and in some of the training, there are already videos. You asked for a sort of a complete walkthrough of how to post a back page classified ad, but to be honest, I've actually done a lot of that anyway already in here. And to be honest, I mean, Backpage is probably, with regards to the actual skills and the nitty gritty of it, really all you're doing is you're arriving on the posting form. Okay. And it's really just a box with some fields. And I think it's actually easier than actually sending emails out, because, you're actually writing out less text, and you're really going through 4 steps. And I've actually explained all this in the videos. So, I'm not sure what else I could go into detail. I mean, I guess if you're thinking like that, I mean, there's no end to it. There's no end to the amount of training I could put into my course. It's always going to be it's always going to be, a never-ending story on the stuff that I could bring out with regards to training. But and as you rightly said, at the end here, he said, I don't know of one training on the internet space that is doing this. Well, there's probably a reason for that, because it's not always that easy, or people just don't have the time, and then that leads me to, going through a daily, from when I wake up in the morning, what actually am I doing? And to be honest, the reasons why I'm getting these results is not because I'm having everything laid out so precisely, because I'm actually not very, very organized. So I don't think it would actually help anyone if I did actually show exactly what I was doing. I'm actually a very disorganized person, but the simple reason why I'm getting these results that I get is simply because I'm actually relentless. That's all it is. I just go crazy. I mean, if you were given a list of names, if I gave you a list of 100 names right now, how many of them are you actually gonna call or contact? I mean, that's really how simple this is. I just know that the internet is a good place where I can go out there and just simply find people. I mean, you could go onto Facebook right now. You could go into the money-making groups, join as many money-making groups as you possibly can. And, just be relentless. Just go and talk to as many people as possible. I mean, I do a lot of phone calling. I mean, so I don't really know, I'm just completely disorganized. What I do is not going to be able to lay out into a strategy, but, sometimes what I put on my back page, what I put on my, training is as best as I can do to keep things what I do as organized as possible. But in reality, it is really not organized. I mean, my actual day-to-day life is really not particularly organized. But the reason why I get these results is simply because I'm going wild. I'm a wild kind of person. I just talk to as many people as possible. And that's what you should be doing. It doesn't take skill. My background is I was a chef. And well, no, I shouldn't even say that I was a chef. I wasn't. I was just a plain cook. I was working in the hotel industry. I don't have any sales and marketing background. I went from there to Japan. I spent over 20 years in Asia, and 17 of those years was solidly in Japan. I was teaching English. I'm actually very dyslexic. So, what I do, is far from any kind of, I really don't have any particular skills. All I do is simply spend a solid amount of time getting with people. I mean, the internet is filled with a lot of people. You go onto the social networks, there are people all over the place. I mean, there are 30 billion people or whatever it is. I don't know what it is on Facebook, but we are exposed to so many people on the internet. And it surprises me why people can't even find someone to talk to. So, I can't see what I can say. Anyway, I mean, what I did as a newbie compared to what I do now is completely different. And obviously, that's obvious. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I can't show you what I'm doing, is simply because most newbies couldn't do what I'm doing right now. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now back when I was a newbie, because I wouldn't be ready to do it. I mean, look at this viral team builder system, for example. I'm the admin and owner of this viral team builder system. How could you get a newbie to figure out what I'm doing on a daily basis? What do I do when I wake up? I mean, when I wake up, I have easily 500 plus messages coming to me. As soon as I wake up, that's what I have to go through. And probably 50, 60, 70 are really key questions that I have to answer. I easily spend the first 2 hours just simply answering questions to people, because people in my team, people who have got a kind of a private question that they want to ask me, and I'm not going to expose it on the internet. But basically, a lot of people who are sending me emails, sending me messages on Facebook, people in my team, I'm in Skinny Body Care, I'm in, I've got over 1,000 people in Skinny Body Care. I've got, this system here, the Viral Team Builder, for example. I mean, it has 10,000 members in it, and I'm the only one admin in here. So what I do on a daily basis is I'm simply managing the system. I'm answering questions. I'm talking to people in the system. There are technical issues. I wouldn't have been able to do this when I was a complete newbie. So, my day-to-day job is completely different to what it was when I was a newbie. So when I got into this when I got back into, trying to make money online back in 2015, that was, I've been trying to make money online for years and years, but I got in and out the industry, probably because I was asking similar questions to what you're asking. I mean, no offense, but, the answers that I was getting from those kind of questions were very overwhelming. I wouldn't even dream to tell you what I'm doing. And, if I expected you to do what I'm doing right now, most people would just get too overwhelmed and they probably give up. That's exactly what I did. I don't know if you know a gentleman, his name is Adrian Hibbett. I've known Adrian since 2011, and I've been in and out of this industry because most of the time I've been following people like that. And it was just incredibly overwhelming. So that's really why, when I got it back into this industry in 2015 in June, I decided that if I'm going to make this work, I'm going to do it my way. Okay. And that's solely why I just said to myself, I'm not even going to do Facebook. I'm not going to do any of the social networking sites because I wasn't ready for that. I'm not saying that newbies shouldn't do that. I think newbies should do that. However, it wasn't something that I was comfortable about doing because I had a lot of school friends on there. I had a lot of old friends. I wasn't comfortable about doing Facebook. That was my issue. Okay. I know a lot of people have issues. So I decided I'm going to do something that I know isn't the best system. I know it wasn't going to be the best way to generate traffic, because I know it's not the best way to generate traffic. It's not, and I came up with classified ad posting. It just came up to me like that. I said, why don't I just do classified ad posting? It's easy. All I have to do is I go to the page where they have a little box, and I just start typing a few paragraphs of text. And, after a whole month, I didn't get any signups from Backpage, but I don't know why, I just kept at it. I plugged away. I know that most people by this time would have given up. Okay. I mean, if you're just posting on Backpage, like 10, 15, 20 posts on Backpage, and you weren't getting any results whatsoever, most people would give up. But I just didn't give up. I don't know why. I just didn't give up. I kept going. And I got my first sign up 1 month later. That was 2015. I joined Traffic Monsoon in 2015, June, and I didn't get a sign up until the end of July. That was over a month later. I got my first sign up from Backpage. I was absolutely over the moon. From that point on, I just realized that, because I got one sign up after 1 month, just one sign up after 1 month on Backpage, I said to myself, there is potential. That's all you need to say to yourself. Is there potential? Most people will give up at this point. Most people think, no, Facebook is better. Or most people say maybe YouTube is better or whatever. But I just kept going. I realized if I scale up, if I just find a way to be able to post more ads into higher traffic cities, in the United States or whatever, then I might be able to make a little bit better out of this. So that's what I did. I got to work. I researched. I was still a newbie at this point. And remember, my background is I was a cook, and I was, an English teacher in Japan. I was dyslexic, but I just realized, I better research this and to see what are the best cities. How can I scale up? How can, at the moment at this point I was posting about 20 ads a day, and it wasn't enough. So I said to myself, right, I need to be posting 50 plus. So I got to work and I figured out a way of how to post 50 ads by copy and pasting, but it still wasn't working. And I realized I probably have to change my titles. I probably have to change my content every now and then. Every 3 or 4 days I was changing my content. Okay. So it was my content, remember I'm dyslexic and I'm doing all this. If I can do this, anyone can do this. So I was changing my content. I was starting to think, okay, maybe I need to do image ads. Maybe I do need to do clickable image ads. So I went to work and I made all my own clickable image ads. So that's what I did. And then I realized, okay, I think I'm still being ghosted. So I need to figure out a way of doing that. Okay, well, I changed my domain name. I changed my capture pages. I changed my email address. Every time I had about 50, 60 different email addresses going on here. And I thought, oh my God, this is not duplicatable. So I got to work and that's how my course began to develop. I figured out ways. I researched. And I narrowed down, a very sophisticated course that was working, and it started to help a lot of people. It's not the best thing. It's not, but it was working. And I was actually getting when I started to post 70 ads in the morning and 70 ads at night, I was posting 140 ads every single day. I was changing up my titles. I was adding new image ads, clickable image ads. I changed up my domain name because I figured I was getting ghosted. I changed my IP address. I changed my email address, and I did everything I possibly could. And I was spending 2 or 3 hours a day on posting classified ads on Backpage. I know that most people wouldn't be willing to do this, but it was what I did. And that's why that's why I can now build big teams. And that's why I now have a big list. But like I say, my background is I was a cook. I'm dyslexic, and I lived in Japan for the last 20 years. And, what can I say? So I was kind of a mess, and I was disorganized, but I was working it simply because I was relentless. So really that's my best I can do, just to tell you exactly what I did. But I don't do so much of that anymore because now I have my own system. So this Viral Team Builder system is what I do. I put in, my own landing pages, capture pages, funnels that, newbies wouldn't need to be doing this kind of thing. I mean, like I say, I used to be a cook in the kitchen, and and as a result, I'm a practical kind of guy. So when I started out as a cook at first, all I was expected to do was to peel potatoes and chop carrots, and maybe stir the soup or whatever. That was all I could handle as a newbie. And I looked over to the top chefs in the kitchen, and I looked at what they were doing, and I had no idea. I was overwhelmed. I couldn't follow that. But I knew that down the road, give me time, 1 year later, 2 years later, I would be able to do what they do. It's the same in this industry. It's the same in any industry. You know, I can't expect you to come out here and do what I do on the Viral Team Builder, you know, and answer all those questions to the people in the system, you know, technical questions, all kinds of questions. I couldn't expect you to do that. And, you know, there's only a certain amount of hours a day. So, you know, that's the reason why I don't do Backpage so much anymore, because I have a big team that I'm helping, and I have a whole full-blown Viral Team Builder system with 10,000 members. So, you know, that's really just a few years down the road. I haven't even been in this industry, you know, over, you know, 1.5 years ago, I was still a complete newbie. 1.5 years ago, I was a complete newbie. But now I have to do things, I'm doing things that I would have never have handled when I was a newbie. You know, no newbie could do this, and I'm not going to expect any newbie to do this. Okay, but this is what some of the things you might have to look forward to, you know, if you just do those baby steps. Okay, so, you know, just keep doing the baby steps. You know, keep doing the copy and paste. You know, do some classified ad posting. You know, after Backpage, I graduated from that, and I moved up from, you know, chopping carrots and peeling potatoes, you know. And in this industry, you know, I graduated from Backpage, and Backpage was a lifesaver for me. But I don't need to do that now, because I have more of a budget, you know, and in any kind of business, we scale up, and, you know, we develop a larger budget. That's what any company does. As companies grow, we have a bigger budget to work with, you know, more advanced traffic strategies that newbies couldn't handle. And I wouldn't even dream of teaching newbies some of the stuff that I know now, because I wouldn't have been able to handle it when I was a newbie. Okay, so the stuff I do on YouTube, I mean, look at the things on YouTube, you know, like, for example, my stats, for example. You can't come onto YouTube, on YouTube and expect to get the results that I get now, because I've been running this channel for almost, 1.5 years now. You know, and in the last 28 days, it says last 28 days, you know, look at the kind of the watch time I'm getting. Look at the kind of the activity I'm getting. In just 28 days, this video, how to post clickable image ads on Facebook, you know, I'm getting a lot of traffic. I'm getting a huge amount of traffic. And, you know, this is where a lot of people are coming from. So, newbies just can't come onto YouTube and suddenly upload 1 or 2 videos and expect to get the kind of results that I get. But it's all in my training, you know, I mean, the Backpage stuff and, you know, I've got a lot of videos on YouTube, but everything that I do is not necessarily going to be able to get into training all the time. But I just post gold nuggets on my YouTube channel. And I, you know, at the end of the day, it's not rocket science. And the reason why I'm getting this kind of, these kind of results now is simply because I kept doing it. Okay, I'm not organized. I don't have, you know, much of a marketing background, but I just kept doing it. Then, you know, I'm just a small guy who kept shooting, you know, and I just took baby steps over and over again. And the stuff that I got in the training here, I do some of this every now and then, and I still take a lot of baby steps. But if you just keep doing the baby steps, you're going to get better at this. That's really all I can say. And we've got enough stuff in the training, because a lot of people don't even go through it. A lot of people are actually quite lazy. And the more the stuff that I get in here, yes, I should add some new stuff from the stuff that I've actually posted in the past on my YouTube channel that I haven't actually put into my training yet. But I've got a lot of stuff that I'm kind of backlogged, and I've got to update some stuff that I was planning on doing. And, but anyway, you know, down the road, I have every intention to keep this going, keep this fresh, keep this updated. But I would highly recommend going through some of this stuff here, like, my paid traffic strategies. This is very, very powerful, and it's still what I do. The stuff I do on this page is very much what I do on a daily basis, to be honest. And this is a video. I know you like videos. It's a very powerful video. I'm not sure if you've seen this, but you should definitely see that. And then there's another video here about a webinar that I did with my team with Ryan Gunnis. So there are quite a lot of videos I have. I know you like videos, but that's what you should be watching. Anyway, if I was gonna, but anyway, that's really it, to be honest, Samuel. I know it doesn't answer your question completely, but if I did answer your question, I think I'd end up having like probably 15 or 20 hours of training, full-on training to go through everything that I do on a daily basis, or kind of like a walkthrough guide about how things are done on Backpage. But to be honest, the amount of time I changed things on Backpage, the different subject lines that I was going through, the split testing that I was doing with the different funnels that I was creating specifically for my Backpage, different cities and stuff like that, and the different image ads that I was making. I couldn't go through all that. I mean, if you're doing that, it's not rocket science. It's just being relentless. It's just doing whatever it takes, really. That's all I can say. So with that, I just hope that suffices, really, to be honest. I'm sorry, Samuel. But to be honest, what I'm looking for this section is to give people gold nuggets without being sort of too overwhelming. I don't want to make these videos too long, but what I was planning on doing is making a 15 to 20 minute video, but hopefully answering about 5 or 6 people's questions in one video. So that's really what I was hoping with this section, if possible. Cheers, Samuel. All the best, mate. And catch you later.